nasty's use of the N-word. Did you feel the tide turn at all on you and feel like all your great work had been overshadowed in a public perception?
Not at all. I feel like people will always feel whatever they feel, you know what I mean? People hide behind the things that they hate to admit. In America, especially in Black America, we've become ashamed of the things that we've created. Some of the things that we've allowed to go and partake in the communities, we are ashamed of. We create the recreational usage of the N-word on a daily basis. In our daily conversations, in our music, in our actual life. We say it so freelance that we no longer look
You're
at it.
saying we as Black people.
As people. Not only Black people use this word, everyone uses this word, whether they admit it or not.
Right, exactly.
So, you know what I'm saying?
And in the video, it just felt like you were equating, you know, that she'd done time for robbery and that she has street cred, for her use of the word. And
I feel...
Is that the point you were trying
Not at all, not at all. I feel like out of everything that I said in that video, thinking back and reflected on it, I think that might have been the most stupidest thing that I said. You know what I mean? To validate her criminal record, to have, you know, usage to say that word. I think that was, you know, that was stupid on my behalf. But I'm honest enough to admit that. You know what I mean? Because I feel like whatever a person goes through, that doesn't give them, you know, that's not sanctioning it. What I'm saying is, she grows up in the community. If you're raised with wolves, you do as the wolves do.
I see your opinion, but I beg to differ personally, because I grew up around in a minority community with Black people. I'm Middle Eastern. I grew up around a lot of different people. I just always knew not to say it.
Right.
And I took on the choice not to say it because I don't think that I have the right to say it.
But having an ability to differentiate that right and use it is also a big thing.
I do believe it comes down to intelligence, like personally. But I just think that, do you feel like you lost fans because of your defense?
Not at all. Not at all.
What kind of reaction did you get personally?
It's just what it is. You know what I mean? I think I've been a controversy king thus far.
Were people surprised that Mistah F.A.B said that, do you think?
I really don't care. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, because I stand for what I stand for. Like I said earlier, I'm a people's person and I'll ride for my people. You know what I mean?
And you consider her your people?
That's my people. That's my little sister. I've watched her grow up through communities, through boys and girls clubs that I've participated in. I've mentored kids. I've seen her struggle. I've seen her have her first baby at 13 years old. I've seen her go to jail and miss out on her child's life to come back, get out of jail, and have another child. You know what I'm saying? At 17 years old, to her being 19 years old and having this newfound fame that the industry knows her name and everyone that's going around being on the edge. I've seen her leave Oakland for the first time and realize the reason for the controversy, that many people from other demographics may not have the awareness of the desegregated communities in Oakland, of how we all socialize with each other. They don't do that everywhere else. And, you know, along that line of life, we have to learn to communicate with people on a level that they can understand, wherein then we can implement what it is that we want to tell them and the things that we need to teach them.
What is her stance on the word now?
What we're doing is, she's not using the word right now in her music. But what she's also is, she's realizing.
But why exactly? Why is she not using the word now?
Because what you learn is, you go from Vanessa to V Nasty. We know Vanessa. The world knows V Nasty. Everybody doesn't have an ability intellectually to differentiate V Nasty and Vanessa. All they see is this little white girl saying the N-word.
Well, that's the image that she's projecting, obviously.
Right.
So we didn't grow up with Vanessa, so this is what we're getting.
So now she's realizing and humbling herself to other people's suffering, to other people's the emotion and the feeling that they have that this word stirs up. And she's realizing it when she's traveling. The more she's traveling and the more she's realizing, like, yo, wow, I didn't know. So
that was a big wake-up call for her.
Yeah, definitely. This is a 19-year-old girl who's never left the city of Oakland, who's never been told, dropped out of school at 14 years old. On an intellectual level, she's not the, you know, she's no genius. She's no rocket scientist.
Yeah,
So all she's knowing is what her community has allowed her to do. So as she grows and as she gets older, she realizes and she humbles herself to the differences of demographical perception. And it's all a learning process. Are we ashamed of anything that is taking place? No, not at all. Because at the end of the day, she's a growing thing, and that's what life is about. Life is about growth and production. And her progression has led her to finishing up this mixtape she just did with Gucci Mane, which is about to drop. She just finished a mixtape with Gucci, and and it's a beautiful thing to see people from outside of our region realizing, man, it is what it is. Let's stop being so judgmental and start teaching our youth. Let's start helping our youth. Let's relate to our youth to get them to open up their minds so they can see a bigger picture instead of being so quick to knock down people in the midst of their misunderstanding.
Well, I agree with that. I think in all fairness, everyone needs to take a step back and look at the reasons for why things are happening.
Yeah, definitely.
On both sides.
Definitely.
So, thank you for that explanation, because I know a lot of people wanted to know where Mistah F.A.B stood on that.
And that's what I say, man. It's the same people that will jump on her back, or the same people that sell crack in their communities, or the same people that shoot and rob each other.
Well, I remember when The Game did an interview, and he said that he was asked the question, do you think you talking about gangbanging and shooting people and is less important than a white girl saying the N-word? It has less effect. And he said yes. So people do have very different opinions on
it's crazy, you know,
the importance of certain things.
Of the value of what we're doing. But to get to the early root of what we were saying initially, the community work is what is more important to me than anything that I've done in music or anything that I've stood behind. Recently, we just did a backpack drive where we gave out 1,000 backpacks to unfortunate kids in the community, black, white, Latino, Afghan, Middle Eastern, Pacific Islanders, and any people from any nation or creed. And we gave those backpacks out full of school supplies to low-income families. And it was a beautiful thing to see a community that has been so poverty-stricken and ridden with all senseless acts of violence be happy for a day, where there's no negativity, where there's no police racial profiling, where there's no discrimination, and everybody come out and collectively have a common goal, and it's peace, and it's production, and it's enforcing education.
You've even toured Europe speaking on hip-hop and the values of hip-hop, so...
Definitely.
That's why I started that off, knowing how important you are to the community, and wanting to let you speak your piece on these videos. So
Definitely,
I appreciate that.
DJ Green Lantern. He's in.
Be ready for this,
The airwaves.
Invasion.